and welcome to iBloom Cafe once again. Today I'm going to continue from where I left off in the previous video. Remember how I spoke that we can aspire and still be contented? Now for most parts, these two words, aspiration and contentment, are considered to be contradictory. That's mainly because we associate aspirations with desire, and somewhere we have been taught that desires bring in discontent. Now let's look at it in a very different way. It's not wrong to have aspirations, because without aspirations, as I referred to in the previous video, we would all be just pieces of furniture. But then, to be aware of aspirations and to know where the aspirations are taking us, that is the key to contentment. For a long time, I'd always sought happiness in approval, in being received, in being welcomed, in knowing that there was a certain space for me in other people's lives. That was very important for me. That was my primary motivating drive. That's when I really started looking out for external motivation for doing a lot of things. But then someday it occurred to me, haven't we all felt that? I'm sure, haven't you felt that? Haven't we all felt extremely gratified when we receive compliments, when we receive a praise? That's very natural for us as human beings. Nothing wrong with it. But when that drives our aspirations, when that drives our life plans, then we are handing over our keys of happiness to someone else. And this is something that I keep telling my students every time I speak to them about having aspirations. Now let's look at it this way. Imagine you blot out the rest of the world. Is it possible for you to do it? I'm sure you may say it's possible but not easy. I agree. At one point I thought it wasn't possible too. But then as I progressed, as I started knowing things better, as I started traveling inwards, I realized that whatever I did was independent of what others thought about it. That's when I started realizing that there was a power above me, and I started believing immensely, hugely in the cosmic law. Slowly, what happened was I started having aspirations which were not linked to somebody else's approval or rejection. I went on my path to do things that I wanted to do in a way that I knew will help me evolve as a better human being, taking my life to a point where I would feel fulfilled, where I would feel justified. And once I started going down that path, doing things not because I was expected, not because I would receive accolades, not because I won't be rejected, rejections, acceptance, these things started coming in as corollaries. My focus was entirely on doing what I needed to do to satisfy my spirit. So in a way, it was like blotting out the world even when you knew the world existed. It's a hugely liberating thing to happen. Trust me, it's difficult, but it's possible. So what happens then is You have your aspirations, you go after them, you want to accomplish them, but then there's nothing around you that deters you or that propels you. What propels you is what comes from within you. So you are not constrained, you are not held to ransom by anything other than your own aspirations. It's your aspirations, it's your goals, it's your dreams that will drive you. Not because anyone else will stand up and applaud for you, but because you know that is the way to go forward. And when you do that, when you put in all your efforts, notwithstanding what happens around you, trust me, the cosmos is watching. The cosmos that is watching will give you the returns that you deserve. How many times have you felt that you have given it your all, but you haven't received anything in return? That's because we look for the returns in a specific manner. We define returns in a certain way. And when we don't receive those returns within those parameters, we think we have been cheated. We think that we have not been given our due. But look at it this way. Giving your best, giving the very best that you have, knowing what you are expected to do of yourself by yourself. Be the best version that you can be every single day. And see how sooner or later there will be a return on your own investment with yourself. I felt extremely liberated. I felt extremely rewarded when I set out on this journey. Like everyone else, I set out on a very wrong foot. But then I was lucky enough, I was fortunate enough, I was blessed enough to change my ways, to mend my ways. And when I took the new path, I knew that I can aspire and then be contented. I can aspire and go and do what I want to do, but at the same time, I'm contented in the thought that I have given my best, and whatever I need to receive in return will come to me in due course. My contentment was in doing my best. I know it's not very easy, but I'm sure we all can come to that point. And when we come to that point, when we can take our aspirations along with our contentment in both our hands and balance them together, the joy that you experience in life is immeasurable. Try it. Start experimenting with your aspirations and contentment. Keep the rest of the things away and out of your mind. When you're doing something, you're focused on it. When you're doing something, you know you're doing it for your sake and not for anyone else's sake. We need to grow for our own sake. We need to be better for our own sake first. Only then we can contribute anything to anybody outside. Until I see you next time, keep glowing and keep growing. This is your life writing friend, Asha.